Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where that is not the NFL schedule release. It's the collision of two distant stars, sending imperceptible vibrations throughout every corner of the known universe, one of which passes through you and fires the neuron in your brain that tells you you must pound the over on the Jets' 9.5 team total, Denny. Did you get all that? How are we doing?
Well, it's complex, but I do think I understand that the universe is telling us that the Jets are going to be at the center of the universe throughout this season.
And you think you're in control of all these micro decisions you make, but you're really not. It's this vibrational, gravitational waves passing through your body. Denny, as you know, here on Galaxy Brains, we love to talk about Mike McCarthy's Pro Football Focus sub. Now, not the sub that actually accesses all the cool stats that we cite all the time, just the one that gets you the articles. But those are good too. But there appears there has been a disturbance in the Mike McCarthy Cowboys analytics force.
As any Galaxy Brainer knows, Mike McCarthy was hired by the Cowboys after saying that he had seen the light on analytics. He was no longer an old school guy. He had converted to an analytics truther. He knew the math. He knew how to do stuff with numbers on the field and players and things. And Jerry Jones said, yes, I like that guy. I'm hiring my analytics geek coach. And that's how he got the job. He has subsequently joked about how he got the job, which is really something when you think about it. And recently, ESPN reported this week that Cowboys director of football research Tom Robinson is no longer with the team. The move occurred prior to the NFL draft. Robinson is an analytics veteran who has been with the Cowboys for more than a decade. And so my first question here, besides, all of the Mike McCarthy stuff and whether he's truly committed to implementing analytics in his game plan,
it's impossible to say.
Could we have had an office space situation with Tom Robinson where he was put in the basement of the Dallas Cowboys headquarters without a working phone, with no internet, and they said, "Hey, Tom, you're working for us, baby. You're down here, you do your numbers thing, you send it up the chain. We'll take a look at it." Because honestly, I don't know how good an analytics guy is if Ezekiel Elliott has been getting 20 carries a game for the past 3 seasons.
And as we know, that's a very large, very scary basement. They've had Drew Hutchinson down there for almost 20 years. Please let Drew out. I know he didn't work out as a franchise quarterback. Please let him out. Well, you use this to question the Cowboys' commitment to analytics, Denny. I actually think something totally different. I just think this means they finally solved analytics. They worked at it for over 10 years. Mike McCarthy came in, again, with the PFF sub. He never used it, but he knew all about it. They implemented the program and found that it worked. And it turns out analytics is just the exact same thing as 1947 football.
Yeah.
It's not anything like we think it is with, optimized play calling, EPA, actually structuring things to add points.
Right.
This is doing exactly what the Cleveland Browns would have done in 1947. And it just so happened that it confirmed every single one of Mike McCarthy's priors.
Well, and this explained, you might be onto something, because this actually explains Mike McCarthy earlier this offseason saying, we want to score fewer points in 2023. We scored way too many points last year, and we want a rested defense. And you can't have a rested defense if you're scoring too many. I'm trying to put the pieces together here in the McCarthy lingo and his large, ever expanding brain. But basically, he said, we're done scoring. And so this makes sense. It is coming together. You might be onto something there, Pat.
Well, Denny, Mike McCarthy wants to score fewer points. Kyle Shanahan, in theory, always wants to score more points. But Kyle Shanahan's a very conflicted human being. He's got an angel on one shoulder saying score more points, and he's got a devil on the other shoulder saying send Kyle Juszczyk into motion, score fewer points, kick a field goal here, punt right here. It's reaching maybe a new tortured low where Kyle Shanahan has now said they have 3 franchise-like quarterbacks, Denny. They can't decide between Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and, of course, Sam Darnold, he of recent Panthers and Jets glory. And it just seems like Kyle Shanahan, even though he's one of the greatest offensive innovators in modern NFL history, can't get out of his own way. But what do you think that this really means, Kyle Shanahan saying they have 3 franchise-like quarterbacks?
Well, I think this goes back to something we've talked about in Galaxy Brains, which is the psychological conditioning of both 49ers faithful and NFL fans at large. to the point where I think that Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, others in the Niners organization want it to be so that by the beginning of September, when they name Sam Darnold the week 1 starter, every football observer, both obsessed and casual, says, of course it's Sam Darnold. It was always going to be Sam Darnold. Okay, Darnold. They want it to be, this conditioning, this psyop, some are calling it.
It's a psyop, and it is.
But it has been called a psyop. Is meant so that we don't even know the name Brock Purdy come the end of August. And honestly, I think it could work.
Yeah, so we know Kyle Shanahan is a devotee of there is no difference between good and bad things. No. He thinks Trey Lance is a bad thing, a mistake they made in the first round. Brock Purdy's objectively a good thing. The final pick of the draft, coming and getting to start an NFC Championship game, no difference between those good and bad things, though. He wants to split the difference with Sam Darnold. And, yeah, he just wants chaos. But he definitely wants, again, a press conference on August 31st. He cups his ear. Trey Lance, we'll see you in the first round. Wow. We're only focused on 2023. But it's going to be so much more wide-ranging than what you laid out. The 49ers, they will send Sam Darnold to work with you this summer. Yeah. They'll have Sam Darnold be a godfather to one of your children, if that's the sort of thing they're into. We love you, Godfather Mike. That's one of my godfathers to my children. They'll have Sam Darnold request yet another extension of your overdue taxes. They just want you to be comfortable with Sam Darnold. He's a friendly, family-friendly figure. Yeah. And, yeah, he was always going to be the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. I frankly think it's funny you thought someone else might start week 1.
Hey, one thing we can say about Sam Darnold, he did not flame out in New York. He did not flame out in Carolina. We know this for a fact going into this season. You mentioned on a recent podcast that the 49ers were sprinkling pamphlets across San Francisco saying Sam Darnold is the QB1. Sam Darnold is, as a beat writer recently said, the best thrower of the football in the history of the San Francisco 49ers. And for those of us who are old enough to remember Joe Montana and Steve Young, that's a statement. But you know what? It is part of this mission to make sure our brains are ready for Sam Darnold, and mine is ready.
Yeah, if you had been wondering why the 49ers, what possible use they could have for renting 6 World War II era long-range bombers, it was to drop those leaflets all over the San Francisco Bay Area, preparing the populace for Sam Darnold to start in week 1. Denny, the Washington Commanders, I feel like they're always preparing the populace for certain things, usually very, very bad things. Lately, their botched sale. Mm-hmm. It would seem like, but we got something going on with the Commanders. We got a quarterback controversy, but not the kind that people might expect.
So, the Commanders reached out to Andrew Luck, who you may remember from the quarterback who suddenly retired 3 years ago and has since sat in his library reading books. And at Galaxy Brains, we respect that. But honestly, nothing expresses more confidence in your second-year quarterback in Sam Howell than reaching out to the guy who, in his last public appearance, looked like he was ready for a Civil War reenactment.
A picket charge at Antietam, Denny.
Yes, that's what he looked like he was ready for, folks. So I do think that we have some questions about the actual true commitment of the Washington Commanders to Samuel Howell.
And you also think just that the Commanders might be overlooking some disturbing aspects of Andrew Luck's personality, one of which is that he does like to read. We know that NFL teams are troubled by when their players seek knowledge, and you think maybe they accidentally too overlooked this fact with him.
Yeah, look, teams love guys who are football first, and by football first, it means ignoring all other aspects of life in favor of the game. Okay, now if Washington head coach Ron Rivera had any idea how many books Andrew Luck has read over the past 3 years, he would be out. He would have no interest in Andrew Luck, because that's a lot of reading and not a lot of film watching, not a lot of working out. Okay, not a lot of bonding with your teammates. So I'm shocked. I'm shocked any franchise would reach out to Andrew Luck knowing that he reads books.
Yeah, it's the absolute reddest of flags. Even if he's just protesting boilerplate sports books. I was trying to learn how to be a better quarterback. And like, well, that's funny. I don't remember you being up on your iPad at 3 a.m. watching one Jahan Dotson drag route after another. That's really curious to me that you said you were trying to become a better football player and quote better human,
Right.
By reading. And
you're reading about things that have happened in history. How about things that will happen?
Exactly.
How about things that will happen on the football field? Andrew, ever think of that?
Yeah, ever wonder how Malcolm Butler intercepted that pass, Andrew? It wasn't because he was reading the battle cry of freedom in the Oxford University Press History of the United States, like Patrick Daugherty is currently reading. It's very good. You should check it out. Maybe why I made an Antietam joke. Maybe why we need to end this show. So for Denny Carter, I am Patrick Daugherty. Thank you, as always, for joining us for this latest round of Brain Expansion.